Welcome to another episode of Ruby Jean Reads. I'm Ruby Jean. I like to read. And today we're going to be doing episode 5 of the ABC Reading Challenge. So as for book J, this is actually a book that I have been dying to read since middle school. So it is a young adult book. The cover literally says, a Sherlock Holmes crossed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is a supernatural mystery thriller, and that is Jackaby. I know this is technically a series, but I've heard that you can just read the first book and it has like a solid ending. It's almost kind of like Sherlock Holmes where there's a different mystery with every book. So if I read the first book and I love it, great. If I don't, that's also fine. As you know, I'm always going to leave you hints as to what the next book is going to be. So as for book K, here are your hints. It has been turned into a Netflix original movie, and we will be watching it as soon as I finish reading it. And it had so many high school girls in a chokehold my senior year of high school. Or maybe it was my freshman year of college. Somewhere in that time zone. And somehow I know nothing about it. I know the main premise, but that's about it. Let's just kick things off with Jackaby. So we're officially at the 25% mark. Check-in. This isn't a bad book. It's not necessarily a good book either. In my opinion, it's just very surface level, I guess you could say. I'm not on the edge of my seat to find out who the murderer is. I feel like something has to happen to make this book interesting because the mystery in and of itself is not that interesting. So those are my observations so far. What do you think, Soka? I will say something funny and crafty and cute that I did like is that this girl, who is the Watson equivalent, when she actually meets him for the first time, she does make a joke like, oh, you're like that one guy being Sherlock Holmes. So although it's a very clear Sherlock Holmes retelling, they still paid homage to the original Sherlock Holmes. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was like a fun way to like call out the elephant in the room, I guess. I'm probably gonna try to finish the book before I like take a real break or eat dinner or anything, because in all reality, this is one of those books where if I set it down, I might have to like force myself to get interested in picking it up again. Not because it's bad, just because it's not particularly engaging or interesting. It's for some people, it's not for others. It's definitely not for me. If you are openly making a retelling of another story, you should expect for it to be compared to the source material as well as other retellings. I have watched many movies, watched many TV shows, read many books that are retellings of Sherlock and Watson. Honestly, it's one of my favorite tropes, I guess. It's been so done that I think we can call it a trope by now, that kind of Sherlock-Watson dynamic. This might be one of the most anticlimactic Sherlock and Watson retellings ever. I went in expecting YA, and it's definitely giving YA, but all the parts about Sherlock that make him so fascinating are not showing here. All the things that make Watson so enjoyable are not a thing in this book. If anything, Sherlock is annoying, and Watson is significantly more annoying. She's just hot and cold all the time, and you never know what to expect from her, but not in a good way. Just kind of like a, who are you? I'm so uninvested in the mystery that I feel like when the killer is revealed, I'm gonna be like, okay, and move on. Like, I'm not gonna care. So I think I'm gonna make myself like a cocoa or like something fun from my coffee bar. It's a little late for coffee. It's actually 4 p.m. right now, which is my coffee cutoff time. I have officially finished Jackaby, and let me tell you, there was some supplemental material, but I'm just ready for it to be over, so we read the canon book, and that's all that matters. So let's bring out the chart. Book J, Jackaby. I'm gonna say 2.5 stars, so technically 3 stars. I don't think there was anything really unique about this book. Like, nothing about it felt original. I guess the fact that there was like a supernatural Sherlock and Watson, but here's the thing. I feel like the supernatural bits actually did more harm than good. Because instead of the author having to work hard to like create a mystery, it felt like she was just writing a basic mystery, or he. Actually, I think a man wrote this. Yeah, William's a dude. Okay. Instead of writing like an original mystery from start to finish, he wrote a good mystery, but then gave it a supernatural explanation, which felt kind of like a cop-out. So let's move on to book K. I know for a fact
is going to feel like torture putting myself through reading this, but I feel like it's a canon event that everyone went through, and now it's my turn. I'm definitely too old to experience this canon event, but we're gonna do it anyways. For Book K, I will be reading none other than The Kissing Booth. But here's the thing. I never watched the movie. I know nothing about this except for the fact that she, like, has a crush on her best friend's brother. I don't understand why that needs a whole dramatized book. Now, I'm not expecting for this book to be good. I'm expecting to have a good time because it's not good. I feel like it's kind of like trashy reality television. Like, you don't watch it because you're expecting creative artistry. You watch it because sometimes you just need, like, junkie entertainment. So I'm going in expecting junkie entertainment, and let's hope that I'm not disappointed.
Why is this one of the tackiest books I have ever read? And nothing could have prepared me. Like, what? I'm sorry. I don't know where to begin. This is not what high school's like. Also, the fact that she's so drop dead gorgeous that literally every single guy wants to date her, like, okay. I feel like this is something a 13-year-old girl writes for Wattpad under a pseudonym. I'm not gonna lie though, I am very entertained. Like, I don't hate it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is like good literature or anything. It's so bad that I'm actually enjoying it. Are you picking up the drift? Yeah, so we're gonna take a break from this before my brain rots, and I'm gonna make muffins, and you know what, let's just do a next 24 hours montage, and I'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. I did my baking and I read, and then I actually woke up this morning, and instead of running, I read a little bit more because it was raining, and I officially just clocked out of work. Me and Soka are hanging out post-dinner, and we're ready to finish Kissing Booth. Is that how they kiss at the Kissing Booth? They go, mwah. Mwah. Oh, thank you. That was lovely. Thank you. In all seriousness, because I do want to finish this book and watch the movie tonight and get to bed at a reasonable time, we are going to pick up where I left off, which is chapter 21. A couple thoughts that I've had just from the last bit, like, where are the parents in all of this? Like, I get parents have gotten involved and there are actual parents in the books, but like, parents just let their children live like this? Like, her dad is just chill with her going to parties and drinking. So good, make up your mind. Where do you want to be? Right there? You want to be right there. Of course. I just want to see how this train wreck ends. By all means, let's just pick up and get reading because I am ready for this book to be over, if I'm being totally honest. I have a lot of issues with the friendship. It is crazy codependent. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Second of all, what were actually the high stakes in this book? I'm not really quite sure, but I must say, I then logged onto Netflix and watched the movie, and I was pleasantly surprised. There were some times where I was cringing so bad that it was actually painful and I was getting third-hand embarrassment, but there were also some times where I was totally eating it up. They made a lot of changes to the movie from the book that I did really appreciate. For example, they actually gave stakes to the situation. And also, I actually really liked Elle's dad in the movie. Like, he seems like actually a solid dad, whereas in the books, it's like, you're not parenting. I feel like the movie itself had a bigger conflict and a better resolution than the actual book did. Do I still think it was really tacky and corny and cheesy? 100%. Like, at the beginning, I was cringing really bad, and at the end, I was annoyed, but there was this middle part, I just couldn't stop smiling, because it was, like, kind of cute. Even though totally a toxic and unhealthy relationship, I just feel like the montage was really precious. And if you've seen it before, you know what I mean. If you haven't, that's not spoiling anything. There you go. Wouldn't necessarily recommend the book, but the movie's actually not horrible if you haven't already watched it. So let's pull up the chart and let's put Kissing Booth for Book K. I just genuinely had a good time. Like, when it comes to how good the book actually is, it's definitely a 2-star, but honestly, I was actually pretty engaged and actually enjoyed myself while I was reading. So for enjoyability, I'm gonna give it another star and make it 3. I must say I'm a little scared because we have had a lot of low stars in the alphabet challenge recently, and we started off really strong. So I would like for books L, M, N, P, and forward to just be 5 stars. Is that so much to ask for? I don't think so. Well, I have been posting 2 videos a week, so you definitely should subscribe. But you should also check out some of my other reading challenges while you wait for some new vlogs to come out. And I guess I'll see you soon for a new video.